the most remote part of the British Isles. Rising out of the vast North Atlantic, over 200 miles west of the Outer Hebrides, this tiny outcrop measures just 31 metres by 25. In 1955, Britain laid claim to Rockall. 30 years later, former SAS soldier Tom McLean reaffirmed the UK's rights to the island and the resource-rich seas around it by occupying it for 40 days. Now, Nick Hancock from Edinburgh wants to break that record and live in this DIY survival pod for 60 days.
You know, it's a huge contrast from day-to-day life, you know, getting up, getting in the car, driving to work, sitting at a desk for a lot of the day. Going out to Rockall is going to be completely different and probably quite refreshing from that point of view.
Because Nick is a chartered surveyor and his workmates think he's crazy.
Very surprised, but good on him for doing that. Really good, but he's mad.
I think he's crazy, brave, off his head.
When Nick first raised the subject about taking 2 months off to go and sit in a rock, the initial reaction was no.
But he's won them round. So this is it. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, this is a rock pod.
So you're spending most of your 60 days in an area no larger than your average dining room table.
This should hopefully withstand impact from waves. You know, it's going to be tethered 15 metres above the waterline. You know, it will still get hit by waves.
Last year, a reconnaissance mission to the rock showed just how crucial the weather will be in his attempt. Rockall's sheer cliffs make it difficult to land on. There is just one spot where Nick can jump on, but this year he'll be hauling his 160-kilogram pod with him. And to do it, he needs perfect conditions.
We want to try and get you out there before all this swell and wind come in. You can see here the swell is starting to pick up to 2.2 metres, 2.6.
A swell of 2.6 metres may mean that Nick can't get onto the rock at all. But next morning, it's the point of no return.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit apprehensive actually. Just because, you know, it's getting to that point where we leave and the pod's going on the boat, you're in and you're committed and, you know, you're off.
It's going to take more than 12 hours to reach Rockall. 4 hours in, and the weather takes a turn for the worse. We're quite a way out now, and we've suddenly dropped off the continental shelf. So the ocean has gone from about 100 metres deep to over 2 kilometres. So all of a sudden, it's started to get much lumpier. But one of us doesn't seem bothered in the slightest. But this is a now or never weather window, and Nick is concerned about his chances of even getting onto the rock.
I went to jump and push off the boat, and the boat just dropped away from me, so there was nothing to push off, and I just fell unceremoniously into the drink. You need to move fast straight up the rock. You could be on maybe a metre or two up and the swell could come in and just take you back off again.
Having travelled through the night across more than 200 miles of open ocean, a speck finally appears on the radar. As day breaks, we get our first glimpse of the famous island. Well, there we have it, the remote rocky islet of Rockall, rising like a snaggled tooth out of the Atlantic. And just looking at it, I can't believe that Nick's going to actually climb on it. But as we get closer to the rock, skipper Angus Smith sees a problem with the swell. It's not looking good.
It's hitting the landing spot at the wrong angle. The sea is pulling away, leaving a hole, and then coming in very quickly and rising up the rock about 4 or 5 metres. Well, as you can see, it's just too quick to scramble up without damaging yourself.
Nick's worst fears are realised. Angus takes him to one side and makes the decision to pull the plug on his attempt. And with only enough fuel to get us home and the weather deteriorating, we have to turn back.
I'm really disappointed. Luck's not been on my side. You know, just looking at it, I'm not confident I'm going to get on.
It's a cruel end to 4 years of preparation. This was the only window Nick had to make his attempt. Leave it any later, and a 60-day stay may have left him stranded in the autumn seas. It was always going to be a really tough challenge, but coming 250 miles out here and seeing that swell going up and down the side of Rockall, you'd have to be mad to try and climb on it. But he lives to fight another day. He'll conquer the rock yet.